One.
Welcome to episode 10 of I'm your host, Keith Cunningham, and this is
Travis Gearhart.
Who are you? And we are
I'm
Disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised. Oh man, episode 10.
Oh, episode 10.
Well, that's not just counting. That's not even counting the half episodes. So we're a thing.
Yeah,
We're a thing. We made it into double digits.
we're according to
Episode
my little
X.
nephew Hunter, we are going viral. I should throw a picture of him up there. What do we think? Look at that guy. Look at that big old fish he's got. Holy shit. Now, a little bit about Hunter. He watches our show. Every episode we have out, he watches it. He is now
Thank
a member
you, Hunter.
of the
We appreciate you. Ooh.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Hunter. He
just wants to drink his beer.
There's a district small engine contest where they there's a district small engine contest through the FFA that they had to build a small engine from the block up. They had 75 minutes to complete it, and him and his friend Connor completed it in 70 minutes. And they are going to state now in April. They are small engine masters. Pretty crazy. And another little thing that a lot of people don't know about Hunter. He's the Lake County, Indiana ice cream eating champion of the world. I have no idea how much he ate, but it was a lot. And it was fast. And he probably puked it up or shit his pants when he was done with that. But good job, Hunter. Maybe we'll have you on here. We'll see how much you can eat.
Ooh, I think we should do an ice cream eating contest. We should challenge him.
We could probably get Hunter. We could get we could get his little buddy Connor. Maybe your son. I think your son.
I bet we can get Gage. We can see. He's a 16-year-old boy, almost 17. He's almost 17, dude.
I think I have a picture of the small engine contest. Let's see what I got here. There they are. Can you see that on there?
Nice.
Or is it too wide? Couple of champions there. A couple of champions. There we go. Oh shit. This thing's hard to control.
That's what she said.
That's Hunter.
Nice.
That's Connor. But yeah. Congratulations, Hunter and Connor. Good job. Way to kill it. And I got one more shout out. We got to give a shout out to. Come on, let me zoom in on that one. What the hell's going on? My daughter, Peyton. She scored an 87% on her AP test. Good job, Peyton. Now, she originally was going to school at Valpo. She was a Beacon. She's going to school at Valpo for business, and she left the school. She's focusing now more on a medical degree. I think she's aimed more towards sonography, is what is interesting her at the time. And that brings up Valpo University. You hear anything interesting about Valpo University?
As a matter of fact, I did. You sent it to me. So, Valpo University recently decided to deny the Valpo University Turning Point USA chapter, which is interesting. In the same breath, they actually allowed oh shoot. Do you have that? Do you have those two at the ready? My phone's over on the charger. I don't remember if you can pull that up. The one was a Muslim group, and then the other one was I think it was a transsexual group, if I'm not mistaken, which is not suggesting that you shouldn't have groups like that. You're in college. If you are a tranny or you are Muslim,
It says here, Valpo Alliance. They accepted the Alliance. Alliance is support and educate and advocate for the LGBTQ plus community while creating a safe place for students to explore identity and celebrate LGBTQ plus culture. And they also accepted the Muslim Student Association, build a supportive community for Muslim students while engaging in community service and educating the broader campus about Islam. Both of those, I don't really care. Who cares? But then TPUSA,
Again,
they
you do what you want. I
rejected
don't
it.
give a shit.
Yeah. Then TPUSA, they rejected it. TPUSA says that they identify, educate, train, and organize students to promote the principles of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government. And they were rejected. I think don't really need to explain what they do. I think everybody in this country pretty much knows now. I mean, it's not a secret
They
that,
do.
you know.
And here's the thing. I want to play devil's advocate a little bit here, because does Turning Point USA actually promote limited government, fiscal policy? Do they really do that? Because the last time I saw is on the national level, at least, they pretty universally have been fine with Trump's big spending bills, going overseas and bombing Iran, still sending money to the Ukraine, probably bombing Iran again. We'll get on more of that. So I would argue first and foremost that their actual declaration of what they do is inaccurate. But that's besides the point. If you're going to have the other groups, then you should have that. Now, the only thing that I could see, and when you sent that to me, I did look up a little bit online, and some of the arguments that were being made for it. Of course, you had the typical tardos that were like, "Oh, well, it's because they're a hate group." Listen, man, just shut the fuck up. But the
That's just
the one
easy.
thing that they did,
That's an easy thing to say when you disagree with somebody. Oh, you're a hate group. All you're trying to do is just shut them up.
right?
And honestly, that's so like 2010, 2015. It's
Yeah,
2026.
we're way past it. And now here's the
Yeah.
problem, though, and we can go into this more here in a second. But the problem is that we're gonna get this blue wave, and you're gonna see this come right fucking back, man. All the stuff that we dealt with during the Biden administration in the late 20 teens and the 2020. And this is why I'm actually in the process of writing an article that kind of like, everyone's like, oh, well, it was better than the alternative. We needed Kamala. And it's like, is it? Because now you're just really letting these guys plant their flags, and you're going to get the worst of the worst. You're going to have so much. And they're doing it to themselves. The Republicans are, you know what I mean?
But
They
we've
lost
heard
us. You
that.
know how many other people they lost?
Yeah,
But
but we've heard
regardless,
that story.
but the only thing with
We've
Turning
heard that
Point
story
USA that
since oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
oh, no.
Travis.
Oh, yeah. I think there's a slight delay this time for some reason.
Yeah.
But the only reason with Turning Point USA that I could maybe see it is that it is also in their designated bylaws that they also try to register Republican voters and try to have voter turnout. That is one of the things that they do specifically. So that's the only thing. Now, are the LGBT community going out and trying to register Democrats? Probably. Are the Muslim Brotherhood or whatever this group is, the Muslim Brotherhood, you know what I mean? Is this Muslim group, trying to advocate for Republicans? Probably not. But it doesn't, so I don't know that you're kind of splitting hairs there. I don't know. It's I'm obviously Valparaiso University has their right to do whatever they want. They are beacons in the dark. They're no longer crusaders. They want to
Crusaders
illuminate their
are
wokeness to
scary.
the corners.
Yeah. Crusaders are very scary. So now we just have fucking light bulbs. Beacons.
Yeah, fucking light bulbs. Here's
But
your
we've
beacon.
been hearing this same bullshit since we've got involved in politics and even before. It's always, oh, you got to vote for the lesser of two evils. Why are we voting for an evil anyways?
You're
You
on it.
know,
Yep.
At what point are we just going to stop voting for the evil? And I've been listening to a lot of Anna Kasparian, TYT, Young Turks, and
Mhm,
I agree with her and Cenk. They don't call it Democrat Republican anymore. They call it the Uniparty, and
mhm.
I'd have to agree with them because it seems like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who you vote for. There's one thing for sure: you're getting it shoved up your ass. That's all it's is going to happen.
Yep, yep. Well, and that's one of the reasons that I think that this pretty seamlessly, unless there's more that you want to talk about the Turning Point USA, I was actually given the contact info for the kid that is in charge of the high school Turning Point USA chapter in Couts.
Yep.
I think he's listened to the show a couple times. I've reached out to him to try to see about. I actually wanted to show up and speak as a candidate, but he hasn't gotten back to me, so I actually might try to get his phone number because we became Instagram friends.
Ooh.
And there's just only so many times I wanna message a high schooler without them returning it. You know what I mean? That's just a bad look. So I might reach out to the guy that goes to his church and say and then see if there's a better way to contact him. So, because I would like to either
Well,
I'd like to even get him on the show. I don't know if he'd like to do that. I know he is younger. I don't know what the logistics of that would be, but if he'd be interested, I'd be interested. So, or we'd be interested, I'm sure. Then maybe we
I
could
mean,
talk to him a little further about it.
it's nice to see.
We might need to talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, it's nice to see some young people getting involved. It's just,
Right, right.
we were young once too, and what we believed 20 years ago is not the same of what we believe now. And
Without a doubt. And it shouldn't be. If you still believe the same thing 20 years later, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like you have to learn. You have to
yep.
learn, you know? Like if you're not learning, and I'm not saying that you have to take us. I mean, I don't feel like either of us really took a large leap away from what we believed. We still believe, generally speaking, in the same values. We just realized that those values weren't being represented by the people we thought were representing them is primarily it. I mean, everything that I believe in right now as a libertarian, I believed in as a Republican. I was just lied to that they were a part of the platform. Like that's not that. Yeah, there's not that much that I'm a little more. I'm way less of a war hawk because I think, God, I don't know how you can be in our generation and see 20 years of failed war over in Iraq and Afghanistan and the
I
number
mean,
of
look at
lives of not just the life lost, but the suicides after. And still you got Lindsey Graham just like, yeah, let's go do more of it. Well, let's go kill them
well,
all.
that's what drives me nuts is, now however many years after 9/11 and what we're hearing about it now and I know everybody, "Oh my god, you're a conspiracy theorist, blah blah blah." Well, goddamn, every conspiracy seems to be coming true. Like it's right.
Huh? Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, come
that was
on.
one of the things that I want to talk to when we finally do our Epstein episode. We've done we've talked about it a few times, but I want to do like a comprehensive one with Dion and do like a straight thing on it, a little bit more of a dish. And he agreed that he'd like to do it. I think we talked about it last episode a little bit, and
Yeah.
so we can do that. But I want to do a little more research on it. But one of the most recent ones that they discovered was that it was all redacted, the whole thing about all of the emails sent right before, during, and then right after 9/11. In fact, there was an email sent out to somebody asking if they want to be on a 9/11 shadow commission.
Yeah, I
And
saw
then
that.
another email saying, "Where's the real pilot?" Like, dude, you're not interested? You're not allowed to show us that? And you're going to sit there and you know how many boomer fucking retards I see on Fox News? Sorry, I'm not going to swear too much, I promise. But on these Fox News pages, that are like, you just didn't like what we released the Epstein files. You just didn't like what was in it. And it's like, you're okay with this. You're just fine. What if it was your granddaughter? What if it was your niece,
Yeah.
that was involved in this? You're just okay being owned by Israel, essentially. You're just okay with this?
In my opinion, well, you said earlier you're listening to John Kiriakou. His sources are telling him that the war in Iran is going to start Monday. Is that what you're saying?
Monday, Tuesday at the latest.
I would say when they start dropping bombs on Iran, that's going to be at the same time they redact everything. They're going to say, "Oh, we redacted it all," and then they're going to do it when nobody's paying attention.
They might
When
even
the
do
news
it.
cycle is completely flooded
Well,
with
look at the
fucking
alien
mystery.
stuff. Yeah.
What's that?
Well, look at the alien stuff that they started talking about. That we didn't even talk about putting this on the list because there's not anything credible. I don't believe it. I think it's all Project Bluebeam crap. You know, if you're
Oh,
not
with
familiar with
Obama?
Project Bluebeam, yeah. It's basically they're just running interference. Like, oh, let's throw
Did you
this out
say
there so we can let's
Project
throw some. You know, you're
Blue
just throwing
Bean?
chum in the water.
Blue Bean or Flick the Bean?
Bluebeam.
Oh, Beam. Oh, I thought you were going to
Roll that beautiful,
beat for it.
roll that beautiful beam footage. We can't do that as a shirt. We tried to. We looked at it. But it's going to be too much. It's going to be too hard because it's going to cover too much of the backing. So we're going to make stickers.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
Is the game plan.
All right.
Yeah, we'll figure it
Hammond,
out. But
Chicago Bears, Wolf Lake.
yes. So to
What
start
do you
off,
got
I
on
want
this?
to here's a big plate. I'm going to eat my crow because I said absolutely it's not going to happen. There's no way in hell. Now it's basically more likely to be in Hammond than I mean it's still not out of the woods to be going to Arlington Heights, but it is closer than what it was going to be. Way closer.
Yeah, well, let's talk about.
What are your thoughts on it?
I don't even want to talk about where it's at. My thoughts on that land there, maybe I'm wrong on the size, but it just
They're
seems
gonna have to knock down Shrek's fucking cave.
it just seems very
Sorry, go ahead.
very small. But I could see them building a parking garage that's multiple stories and possibly having an exit off of the toll road right into Bears parking garage or whatever, or off of Klein Avenue, because that right there is where Klein goes. Klein dumps out onto Calumet, right south of 129th. And if you keep following the loop, it dumps into the toll road right there at the same property. So access wise, they'll have easy access.
It's gonna be such a
man. Could you imagine the traffic jam? Let's say an exit on the toll road into a parking garage. Could you imagine that traffic jam? Or even if it's just a parking lot. I mean, you went there for concerts. What'd you park? Fucking 3 miles away?
Basically, yeah, we were there for Lil Wayne, and it was packed. I mean, they had that place elbows and assholes, and it was packed. I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know where you're gonna put it. You know, it's in this middle of this stinky swamp, surrounded by Dover chemicals over there. I mean, there's all kinds of crap. It's just like, what in God's name? Like, listen, I'm not I know there's a lot of people that are excited about it, and that's fine. I don't want to burst your bubble here, but let me give you some numbers here. So I looked into earlier. I looked way more into so Senate Bill 27 as amended would do in terms of taxing authority and revenue powers that affect Lake and Porter counties if the Chicago Bears move forward with building a stadium in Hammond. So even, it was funny because even ChatGPT called it Field of Schemes, which I liked. I thought it was really pretty good. Yeah, right. I didn't even ask it. Like it knew that I was not happy about it. Probably how I worded it, but whatever. So creation of a local taxing development district. The districts will be used to capture specific local tax revenues, support the stadium construction. So there's a ticket tax, first of all. The amendment would impose a special 12% ticket tax on sales of tickets for events held at the stadium. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. The tax is designed to generate direct revenue. Innkeeper's hotel tax. This bill would double the existing innkeeper's tax in Lake County. I would bet you that they will extend that to Porter County by the time it's all said and done. This raises the tax collected. Now, it doesn't specify what that is, at least in this, so I could probably find out more. But use of local excise and other tax. Broad authority is given for the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority to use proceeds of local excise taxes, applicable proceeds of county food and beverage and innkeeper taxes. Funds can be used to issue bonds and finance construction or infrastructure. So here's the one that really pisses me off. Countywide food and beverage tax. The bill would authorize a recommended 1% food and beverage tax to be levied countywide in Lake and Porter counties. This means restaurants, bars, and other establishments that collect food/beverage taxes would pass that revenue on to the stadium financing plan. Now, you and I both know how quick a recommended 1% tax turns into 10, turns into 15, turns into 20%. Let's
Yep.
not sit here and pretend like that's where that number is going to stay at.
Yep.
And
We know
I'm
that number will
sorry,
never
$1
it'll
billion.
never go down.
How much do the Bears? Never. It will never go down. It will only go up. Always.
Yep.
Always. So yes, anytime you are empowering taxing authority, which is what this bill does, this legislation expands the financial powers available to local governments and the newly created stadium authority, effectively using targeted taxes in Lake and Porter counties to back stadium bonds and pay for related infrastructure improvements. I feel like Ace Ventura when he's like
Yeah.
doing his thing and he starts running out of breath. So
You gotta start
yeah.
slamming the door
Long
shut.
story short, I hope that it doesn't happen. And I'm sorry. And everyone's like, boo, hiss. I want it to be the Northwest Indiana. First of all, they're still going to call it the Chicago Bears. Suck my dick. They're not going to change it to the Northwest Indiana Bears. They're not going to call it a Hammond Bears. And here's the reality. It's going to be real fun and real cool for about 5 minutes. Everyone's going to go on opening day. They're going to spend some money right off the bat. It's going to be so goddamn expensive to go. You're not going to be able to afford to go very often. You're going to see the property value increase in Hammond, without a doubt. Now, most of the places around that area are shitholes. So you've got people that live in the shithole that are all of a sudden going to sell their stuff and move out of the shithole. And where are they going to go?
To your
They're going to
town.
come into Valparaiso. They're going to go into Crown Point. Yep. And this isn't a race thing. I don't give a shit. There's plenty of shitty white people out there too. So before you jump on that, I'm talking about the fact that we don't need any more people in our areas flooding into the area that can't pay their bills. Sorry, man. We don't want that. So you're raising the property value in Hammond, and now they're all going to move out. All the people that are in that area are going to sell, understandably so, I would, and they're going to move into other areas like Valparaiso, and you're going to see such an increase of people out there that you're going to have to take care of, you know? And I'm sorry, I don't live over here in Porter County in the Valparaiso area because I want to live. If I want to live in Chicago, I would have moved to Chicago. If I wanted to live in Crown Point, I would have moved to Crown Point. Valparaiso, the stuff that happens within the city, I don't particularly care for it. I kind of roll my eyes, but it's within the city. I get it. You're going to have expansion, whatever. I live on the outskirts of town. I get it. But, most people that live out here, they don't want to have to, they don't want this to turn into this raging metropolis. When my flight landed in Los Angeles, I'm just looking out at just the lights just all just spread out. And I was like, my God, this is all just one giant parking lot. This whole goddamn thing. I was amazed. And this is what we're becoming. And I'm sorry, man. I'm not here for it. I'm not. I don't think that we should also be having to foot the bill for the Chicago Bears to do it. I think it's sad that Illinois lawmakers are the ones that are being more conservative with how they do it. Now, the argument that was also made to me was because they don't have a choice, because they don't have any money, because they've tacked themselves into oblivion anyways. But what does that tell you? So then we're going to do that? The same lawmakers downstate that are talking about doing wheel taxes and not having enough money and crying poor, all of a sudden find all this money, find this ability, all of a sudden they can move on this real fast, can't they? Fuck
Hey,
you.
hold on.
Like,
While you're going on taxes, I'm gonna tell you a tax I didn't know about that
this is a good
I
segue.
just learned about. I got what the hell is this? I
Yeah, 'cause
got the
that's really all I
paperwork.
had to say on this thing, so
Oh, well, that's good. I got the paperwork to purchase new license plates for my truck at $564.35 for license plates. Now, mind you, my truck before this was a Chevy 2500 HD. It sucked gas like a son of a bitch. I mean, I was spending $125 a week just to go back and forth to work. So I got rid of it. And I bought a hybrid. Talked me into a hybrid.
Ooh, look at you.
I really like it, but I
Next
get
thing you
my
know, you'll be
paperwork.
listening to Bad Bunny.
Yeah. I get my paperwork to do my plates, and there is an electric hybrid tax of $81 on it. I was like, "What is that?" I am trying to save the environment and save a little money on fuel, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know, blows my mind. You looked up the
We
hybrid
looked it up
electric
after
self.
yeah, after Keith brought this up right before the show prep and said, "Hey, I got something that I bet you don't know." We looked it up, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you insane?" So, hybrid gas electric vehicles pay roughly $74 per year. Yours was 81, so ballpark. An extra supplemental registration fee. This fee is in addition to the regular registration plate cost you already pay for any vehicle. It's adjusted from time to time based on inflation. Why the extra fee? The state charges these supplemental vehicle registration fees because hybrid and electric vehicles, which pay around 221 to 230 extra, contribute less in motor fuel taxes, which are a key source of funding for road maintenance and infrastructure in Indiana. The supplemental fee is meant to make up part of that difference. Are you high?
I
Are you high? Are you high?
I
This
thought
is
I was
so
saving money.
stupid. No, doesn't you cannot escape it. You cannot escape the government. And Keith, we're supposedly live in a red state. You know
Yeah.
that? This is supposed to be the conservative bastion. This is supposed to be the perfect government, Keith. This is
I got
ridiculous.
one more thing for you to look up while you're on there. Look up the average cost of a hybrid or electric vehicle compared to a similar gas vehicle. Because what I'm trying to point out, hybrid and electric vehicles are a lot more expensive. So that's a
Yes.
lot more sales tax you're paying on it.
Yes.
I'm just
You're
kind
right.
of curious on what a kind of
Yeah,
average amount are we looking at?
pulling it up right now.
I drive a Toyota Tundra. So compare a Toyota Tundra with a hybrid compared to a Toyota Tundra with gas.
So in the hybrid version, it typically is a $2,000 to $4,000 more than the gas only version.
2,000 to 4,000.
Yeah.
We're gonna go 4,000
Depending, in
because it
some
ain't
cases,
2,000.
Toyota especially, the gap is closer to 2,500. But yeah, so you're paying an extra roughly $4,000 so that you can try to save a little bit of gas. It's supposed to help the environment. It's supposed to be better for your vehicle as well, so you're not having to necessarily run off the fuel. You're not changing your fuel injectors as often. It's about
Mhm.
Um, no, no, that's the
They got you coming or going, right? They got you either way.
that doesn't matter, man. It's just every time I think that maybe I'm getting a little bit white pilled or gray pilled, and I start thinking, maybe we can really make a change. No, you can't. Every single time you turn around, you got this. You got the Bears Stadium. Look, and actually, we're back on. I did forget. There was one other thing I wanted to talk a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about the structural difference here in the proposed Hammond Bears Stadium and Lucas Oil Stadium. Lucas Oil Stadium, they're still paying on it. I say we loosely, the state of Indiana, but mostly Marion County. But Lucas Oil Stadium is projected to be paid off in 2041. You realize that? 2041. We are not even anywhere close to paying off one sports stadium that we have to take care of. And that's not assuming, it brings up here in the text here, even after 2041, there can still be renovation bonds or new capital improvement financing. Stadiums rarely become cost-free long time because upgrades often trigger new borrowing because they're stadiums and they're going to have upkeep. You are not building something that's going to stick around forever. I mean, they're already talking about when the Cowboys are going to need to start building a new stadium because AT&T Stadium now and I remember when it was built and it seems like it was just yesterday, but it's already getting to be kind of old. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have the days of, a lot of these older stadiums are just built different. And we see it with the way building material. I mean, we see it with the roads. We both saw it on the town council.
Well,
The
what
building
about
materials are not as good.
how about Lucas Oil? Let's go Marion County. Does Marion
Okay.
County have the 1% tax on
They
food
don't
and
have the
beverage?
exact number, but they don't have the ticket tax. They do have the county food and beverage tax. Let me ask, how much Marion County food and beverage tax? How much is Marion County's food and beverage tax that works towards Lucas Oil Stadium? Dude, I saw some ignorant post by some team. It was like a Bears post and oh, the Green Bay Packers ain't gonna get a new. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a. So it's 2% currently for Marion County right now.
And that goes
So
right towards the stadium.
yep. Yep. The revenue goes towards the Capital Improvement Board, uses that revenue to help pay stadium debt and convention center costs.
Here's
So
a good
that
question for you
2%
to
wasn't
ask.
all created at once. The tax was increased and expanded over time, and it will never go away, and it will just continue to get expanded.
Ask how many times the bonds on Lucas Oil Stadium have been refinanced, basically.
It's a good question.
That's what I found with the town council. Right when you're about to pay a bond off, uh, it was, oh, hey, we can lower your interest rate. You could take out a longer term bond to complete this project. And you sat in a mountain of debt. It was like nonstop debt. As soon as you thought you were coming out of it, it's like a medical.
Always. 2015 refinancing. Public records show that the Indiana Finance Authority refinanced about $273.2 million of the original Lucas Oil Stadium bonds via a new bond sale in 2015. That is, issuance refinanced debt sold in 2005 and 2007 that helped fund the stadium's original construction. As part of the transaction, the authority unwound an interest rate swap and issued about $296.5 million in new bonds as a refunding issue.
Yeah,
2025 advance refunding. A more recent transaction, Series 2025A, is documented where the authority executed an advance refunding of about $154.9 million of outstanding debt in late 2025 as part of ongoing debt management. And here we are. Here we
that
are,
was
Hoosiers. We're
that
going to
was
take
10
on
years
another one.
ago. That was 10 years ago, right? That they refinanced it.
Yes.
And if you look at the timeline there, that was 10 years ago that they
There's
refinanced
it.
it, and it was 10 years before that that they took the original bond to build it. Here we are. We're at 10 years again. I bet you they refinance it again. Well, we'll see. Right before the midterms, I'm going to predict interest rates are going to drop. They're going to drop for, a couple weeks to a month, and then you're going to see a bunch of bunch of bonds refinance, maybe a couple houses refinance.
Well, you saw, so one of the things, and I know we're kind of bouncing around today, but I feel like it's very fluid, right? So one of the other things that was interesting was that the Supreme Court deemed Trump's tariffs unconstitutional. Not all of them, but most of them. So something interesting about that, you
Well,
know,
here's a question. Hold on, before you get to that, here's a question I have. I don't know what they deemed unconstitutional, but is the Supreme
they
Court
said it's
willing?
because It's because Congress holds the purse strings, and so it's taxation without representation.
Okay, that's fine, but are they willing to deem a tariff that is put on us from another country? Are they willing to deem that unconstitutional and stop paying that tariff to another country?
It's not the tariff itself, it's that they were just put on by executive
How they
order.
were enacted?
Yes. Yes, they didn't say that they didn't say that tariffs themselves are unconstitutional. It is the tariffs that were presented by the tariffs that Trump just willy-nilly fucking pulls out of his asshole. Those are
So you
the
could
those are the tariffs.
okay, well, look it up. When was the last time they passed a budget? When was the last time the
Oh.
federal government passed a budget?
When was the last time the federal government passed a budget? I'm gonna when do you wanna guess? I think it was during the Clinton administration.
That's my yeah.
I'm gonna guess. I think it was in the Clinton administration. I think it's gonna be 1998. What's your guess
No, you're probably right. That was
before I
back
hit enter?
when Newt Gingrich was the leader of the Speaker of the House. I think that was the last time that they had a balanced budget. But let's see, let's see. You already got it up.
I'm hitting enter right now.
All
I
right.
just hit enter. Quick. Hey, I'm not looking yet. Take a guess. Take a guess. What are you thinking?
Okay, you're
I said
saying
98.
Clinton.
I said Clinton 1998.
Are you right?
I'm wrong, but I'm close.
What year? 96.
96.
Oh, I knew it couldn't have been later. So
Yep,
there they.
yep.
So now I'm curious. When that budget was passed in '96, did it have basically where if they do not pass a budget the following year, that one rolls over and is added to based on inflation? Because think of that. If
Mm.
that is the case, that has happened every year since '96. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. It says that. So it says right here, Congress last passed a full set appropriations on time in 1996. Since then, lawmakers almost always failed to enact 12 regular spending bills before the fiscal year starts, so they rely on continuing resolutions and omnibus/minibus packages instead. That means the traditional annual budget, where all spending bills become law by October 1st, hasn't happened in decades.
Yeah, that's crazy. You never thought to
But
look at
we
that, did you?
but the government makes sure that trust me. It's just not something that I think about often because there's so many other and I do feel like a lot of it's on purpose. It's always a moving target. It's like bing, 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 bing. Iran, Epstein, like it's just stuff just thrown at you, man. Like you don't have the opportunity to really catch up with one thing. And that's actually, I forget who it was. There was some political figure, not Aristotle. I don't know, man. There was somebody, I'll look it up later. I don't know who it is, but that was like that's what they preach. They're like, just
Well,
always keep your enemy, your political opponent, having to move to the next thing. Keep them having to go, make them have to do it. And he's the master at it. You got to give credit where credit's due. Give the devil his due, right?
one thing that we haven't mentioned on the show, or the Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away.
Oh, he did. He did. And I heard,
I'm not gonna say
obviously, he was
nothing
a
bad about
Chicago,
him. I'm
no,
not
the
gonna say
guy's
nothing
dead.
bad about him, but that was a kid, or not a kid. That was a guy from our childhood that was on the news every single day, whether you agreed with him or not. He was always on there. And if you remember the old Rush Limbaugh when he would talk about him, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. You remember that?
Uh, Yep, yep, yep. When I was down in Florida, I was down in Brooksville, and there's a highway down there, Rush Limbaugh Boulevard, like named after him because he lived down there.
Yeah.
I used to drive down the Rush Limbaugh Highway all the time. The thing I didn't know about Jesse Jackson dying, and I heard this on the John Karaku show with, I forget the other guy, Ted Rollins, I think is his name. I didn't know. Did you realize that he was there the day that Martin Luther King was shot and killed?
Yeah, that was
Did
his,
you know that?
claim to fame. That was his
Did you
claim to
hear the
fame.
story
That's
about the
why
blood? I
no.
didn't know this. I was ignorant to this. I had no idea until I heard the story after he died, and it made me I already didn't like the guy very much. It really made me like, "What a sea sucker." See, I'm trying to do better. But I didn't realize he had got his hands all over in Martin Luther King's blood, put it on his shirt, and then didn't change his shirt, did all the interviews the next day in the bloody shirt. And, like, they said on that thing that Loretta Scott King was just, like, furious, like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, it's been a solid, like, 36 hours. Change your shirt, you fucking idiot." You know,
Oh,
like,
no,
she was just so mad.
it's what we talk about all the time. He was a
Political
master at
the
political theater. Yeah, that's
It's
all it
just so
was.
gross, though, isn't it, man? Like, it's gross. Like, it's so gross. Like, that's the thing about it. I don't have it in me to, like, to fight with people online. I don't have it in me to, like, care. Like, if I'm not trying to talk these guys into it. Like, I feel like we are Paul Revere, and I'm stealing this from a meme. This isn't an original thought, but I feel like people like us are Paul Reveres, and we're walking around going, "The British are coming. The British are coming." Well, I mean, in this case, it's the Jews, but I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The British are coming. The British are coming. And people are like going, "You're crazy. You're crazy." And they're just letting it happen, you know? So I have this pulled up though, because as we were talking about the tariffs being thing, and we're talking about the government getting you coming and going. So here's something interesting. Did you know, Howard Lutnick, remember him? He was on the news recently because um, he had lied about whether or not he was on Pedo Island and what type of relationship that he had with Jeffrey Epstein, right? Do you remember hearing that name in the news recently, Howard Lutnick? And he had originally said that him and his wife had went in there and there was a massage table. And he said, "Oh, you got a massage table in your living room. You must really have back problems or something." Like, and he goes, "I love a good massage." And he goes, "And I always get the special kind." And Howard Lutnick said he went straight home and he told his wife, "We are staying away from that man. There is no way." Years later, him and his wife and kids spent time there, like, having lunch because they were out there on a cruise. And he had no idea. He was, oh. But here's the
That's
funny
how he
thing.
was, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but so Howard Lutnick's family firm bought up the rights to tariff refunds for 20 to 30 cents on the dollar after Liberation Day last year. Now, I got to look into how that even works, but today the Supreme Court struck the tariffs down. And so for every $100 invested, Lutnick's sons just made 3 to 5 times that money. In fact, let's ask ChatGPT. Let's ask ChatGPT because now I'm interested. What
Well, while you're
are
asking
tariff
ChatGPT,
refunds?
I just pulled up APAC on their Facebook page because I've never looked at their Facebook page, but I was scrolling through and it popped up. Did you know? And I'm saying, did you know? Because I don't necessarily believe any of this shit. Iran spends more than 1 billion annually funding terrorist proxies. Did you know that? Here's another thing. Wasn't the what was it? Operation Midnight Hammer? Didn't we take out their nuclear sites? Wasn't that the point of that? 8 hours ago,
Supposedly.
Iran is developing ballistic missiles capable of carrying a nuclear warhead to the US. I don't. Okay. If, let's say, yes, they have a ballistic missile, are they going to shoot it at us or are they going to shoot it at Israel?
Well, considering we just made, well, what was it that you said the largest buildup since when?
The largest, oh God, what did I say? I got to find it. The largest buildup in the Middle East since let's see. The largest buildup in the Middle Eastern region since 2003. Iran's stance, Tehran insists diplomacy is still possible, and they've criticized the U.S. military's actions as unnecessary and unhelpful.
Yeah. Where, who's gonna get hit by the missile? Probably our carriers, I mean, listening to again, and I don't want to keep bringing up John. I don't want to just make this be like, all right, these are gonna be John Kiriakou shorts. But he's a wealth of information. I don't agree with him on everything. I don't agree with any of these guys on everything politically. Him, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, any of them. I don't care. I have my own opinions. Scott Horton, he's another one I listen to quite a lot. Martyr Maid, Daryl Cooper. He had said, though, on his that it's a very mountainous region, and you're not going to be able to just make this an air war because they're going to make you, if you're going to really go in and do this the right way, they're going to make you go in on foot, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And yeah.
I have
So
some
the bigger,
different news about APAC that I'm finding out. I know I'm bouncing around from Iran to APAC, but hey,
I
same
don't
thing.
care. Doesn't bother me none. And if you have a problem with it as the listener, just deal with it once, okay? Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, we know who you are. U.S.
Not
representative
Stanley.
withdrew an
Oh, we haven't mentioned
endorsement.
Stanley at all.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
they withdrew an endorsement citing APAC ties. Representative Jan Schakowsky, she rescinded her support for a congressional candidate because the candidate's APAC linked financial backing. Okay, I thought that was interesting. This is interesting too. There's accusations of covert political campaigning in Illinois. Imagine that. Political figures claim that APAC linked groups are running ads under other names to influence Democratic primaries without openly disclosing their backing. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised at all.
But it happens all the time.
Not even with APAC. Okay, what were you
Yeah.
looking up? What'd you find?
So I was just looking at one of the loser Democrats in Northwest Indiana that are running their typical Facebook ads. Jesus Christ.
Is he going like this when he's talking? I am.
Yeah, like most boomer slop ever. So, affiliated traders would offer companies upfront cash, about 20 to 30 cents on the dollar, in exchange for the rights to any refund, essentially a financial asset that they could pay out later if refunds are awarded. Example, a company might have paid 10 million in tariffs. Cantor would offer to give them 2 to 3 million now for the rights to collect the full refund later. If the tariffs are ultimately ruled invalid and refunds are paid, the firm that bought those rights stand to collect the full refunds, meaning they could potentially make several times what they paid for those rights. So, Howard Lutnick, his sons are the ones that are doing it. Now, he's the Secretary of Commerce. So, again, at a certain point in time, you have to kind of go, why? Why is this legal? Is your family allowed to do this? But it's never going to change. It's not. This is why you want to know why so many kids are just wrongfully so turning towards like socialism again, like so much harder. and really just leaning in that direction because of shit like this, man. Like
Mhm.
it's they're not seeing the system change. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to. I mean, look at the license plate that we've talked about. Look at the funding for the stadiums that the Bears and the Colts. I mean, let's throw the Colts in the conversation. Why are we going to pay for that? How much money do the McCaskies have? Why are we paying for any of it? How much money do they make off of the Bears merchandise? How many Bears shirts you got, Keith?
A lot.
What's the licensing on that? Why doesn't the fucking NFL hand out loans for these goddamn things? Why are the states doing this?
I mean,
Why? Why? How much money does the NFL make? Let's find that out. Let's take a look.
that would be a good business decision by the NFL if they would do the loans and collect interest on it.
How much money is the NFL worth? Let's just ask that. Because between licensing, I mean, how much money you're not allowed to show any footage. They will sue you, and they do. Um, so let's see here. The National Football League is currently valued at 180 to 200 billion dollars.
They could loan that
But
out.
it's super important that we pay an extra tax on everything so that we can finance the billionaires.
Well, you have
Fuck
to think
you,
about it.
dude. Fuck you.
That's a genius move by the NFL because you always have to weigh out your risks and your rewards, and they don't have a risk.
Oh, there's no risk. No risk whatsoever. They don't, it's not on them. They don't care.
Yep.
Have you seen, I mean, when's the last time you've been to a football game? You know how expensive the cost is to go to a football game? Like I said,
So
we can't afford. Look at who goes to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, I hate watching the Super Bowl because the fans in the stadium, they're not even watching. They're all going like this.
yeah,
On.
look
It's
where I'm
not letting
at.
me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like when like nowadays you go to concerts. Yeah, you go to concerts now, and everybody's like, I got to record the whole thing. It's like Jesus
I
Christ.
know. I do a couple of songs. Like if it's like one of my favorite songs, I'll do like a quick Snapchat, however long Snapchat lets me do it, which is like a minute or so. And then I put my phone away. I don't want my phone out. I want to live the experience. But yeah, this is, I mean, we took a few pictures when we went to that Cowboys Lions game, but yeah, I
Well, it's
just
just so
don't.
we had evidence in case they couldn't find us. Remember
We got to,
walking through Detroit and all the damn street lights were busted out? Do you remember because we parked in like an alley. Do you remember
yeah.
that? I don't even think we were
Uh,
in a parking lot. We were just in an alley. I think you had a gun on you, 9 millimeter or 45 or
it
something.
was a 380. It was a
A
380.
380.
Oh God, you want to tell that story? So it wasn't even my 380, which would have been even worse. I was test driving it. So it was the little Ruger 380.
You test
That
driving it.
well, because it was like a pocket pistol. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to see if I was comfortable with it. And I had a buddy Brian who had so many guns. My God, well, I think his mom was sick or something. Um, and so up until he was like 30, he pretty much lived at home, saved, I mean, honestly, smarter than all of us. Lived at home, bought guns, spent his money on whatever he wanted to. He was single, didn't have any kids. Um, and I think he had to take care of his sick mom. I think she passed, but regardless, he had a bunch of guns. So we would go over to our other friend Brian's house where he lived out in the country, and we would just shoot stuff. We would just shoot all kinds. It was so fun. And I was like, "Man, is this the little Ruger 380, LCP, I think it was?" And I was
Yeah,
like,
like
"Man," I'm like, "I've
composite
been
pistol.
wanting to." Yeah. And I was like, "Man, I've been thinking about this." And he's like, "Well, you wanna test drive it? You wanna borrow it for a little bit?" And I was like, "You know what? Sure, I will." And so I was carrying it around in my jean pocket for a little bit, just kinda getting used to carrying it, Now I have my own, but we get all the way in line, and I reach in my pocket and I go, I go, "Fuck." I turn to Keith and I go, "Dude, we gotta go back to the car." He goes, "Why?" And I go, I mean, unless I throw this thing in the garbage and just pay him for a new one, like I have a gun on me. I'm not gonna go into the stadium with a fucking gun on me. And this was back in the day. They
I
didn't
came
even
up
have.
with a genius idea. I was like,
It was smart. It was
just
smart. Well,
shove it in
because
your asshole,
they didn't have
Travis.
full body. Yeah, I just shoved it straight up there, straight up the poop chute.
Walk in with it in your prison pocket.
Yeah. Why are you walking so funny, sir? No reason. No reason. You see, though, I should have taken one out of the chamber. That was not safe. So they didn't have any actual full body things at that time. They were
No, they
just,
had the
they were
wands.
having, and they would say, take everything out of your pockets and hold them above your head. And then they would wand you. And so I had my wallet, and Keith goes, well, just put the gun in the middle of your wallet and so that they can't see it and just hold it up. And I'm like, oh man,
It was
what
so
if they catch
risky,
me?
but it worked.
It's one thing, dude. It's one thing to be like, hey, can I cop out of line? I forgot my gun. I need to go back and put it in the car. But they catch you trying to take a gun in there, and this was still post 9/11. Like it wasn't like it was like the 90s, and everyone was like, yeah, man, it's cool. You got drugs too? Sure, bring them in. Like it was risky, but I got away with it. I had a fucking 380 in fucking Ford Field. It was insane. I was like, we go through and I'm like, I cannot believe that worked. I cannot believe that we have a
Yeah,
gun.
that's how
So
stupid they
so
were.
so don't let anybody ever tell you that anywhere's a gun-free zone. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, you just pulled it out of your pocket, just held it up, and they didn't even see it. It's like,
No. Uh-huh. Now watch, there will somehow I'll get a knock on the door from the ATF. Excuse me, sir. Is this are you the co-host of the Disenfranchised Podcast? Did you take that? God, that one's gonna be a
you
good
know,
clip.
I liked that stadium. I thought that stadium was pretty badass. The only thing that I didn't like about it was, god damn, them people from Windsor, Canada, they smell like shit. They smell like shit.
There were so many Canadians there, dude. Well, and the reason was though because the Cowboys, they do so much.
The
The
Cowboys
Cowboys,
were the original team to be on the air internationally.
yes.
So, like, when you crossed over into Windsor from Detroit, in Detroit, you can watch the Lions, but at that time, when you went into Windsor, you could watch the Cowboys, and the Lions weren't
Mhm.
on. So
Right, right.
you had, like, everybody from Windsor come to Detroit to watch the Cowboys play Detroit.
Yep, yep. So we had all these stinky ass Canadians.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, I don't know if Detroit's changed ever since, but it was ghetto as shit. All the damn street lights were busted out
No,
and
no, it's
shot out.
I was just there a couple years ago because I had to go get my passport renewed. Remember that story?
Do you remember when we left the game and we're walking to the car or to the truck or whatever, you had a couple bums come up. I think they came up to us, but they went to the guy behind us, and the guy was like, "I just gave your fucking brother money right down the road." I was like, "Holy shit."
He was super like well, I remember taking Gage home from a Blackhawks game over there. And there was, when you leave the United Center, it's just a row of bums, just a row. And
Yeah.
they're all coming. And I'm like, and I'm trying to push Gage out of the way. And Gage is like 9, 10 years old at the time. I'm like, keep going. Don't make eye contact. Don't get eye. And they're like, excuse me, sir. I'm like, no, thank you. Sorry. Nope, 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 nope. The guy at the very end, and actually, I almost thought maybe it was going to be like a jump out like camera moment. It looked like Emmett Smith, like like it looked like Emmett Smith.
You're gonna jump out of the car and take a picture with him.
Well,
Some
yeah,
random
yeah. Well, I
bum.
was waiting for it. Well, I was waiting for it to be like, so would you give money if you knew it wasn't a celebrity? You know how they have that shit. I thought maybe it was like a hidden camera thing. And I didn't give the money because I thought maybe it was a hidden camera thing, but because the guy goes, hey, like all the rest of them were like, hey, can I get money? Can I get money? Can I get money? He's like, hey, did you enjoy the game with your son? I go, yeah, I did. Thank you. And he goes, well, hey, have a safe drive home. God bless. And we took about 4 steps and I stopped. I pulled my wallet out and I pulled out, I think I had a $5. I gave it to Gage. I go, hey, go give it back to that Emmett Smith looking motherfucker. And he goes, and so I earned him $5. He was able to buy himself a shooter. Well, whatever, man. I was
Have you seen the I saw videos on, I think it was on Facebook, where this guy's walking around LA. He did it in LA, and I think he did it in Seattle. He's walking around like the ghetto areas where all the bums are hanging out, and he's got a basket full of the little shooters. What the hell is that shit? That cinnamon whiskey Fireball. He's passing
uh-huh.
out Fireball to him.
You know, man, I get it. It's 2026, man. We're watching the collapse of society. You know, the dollar's not worth shit. We're going to war willy-nilly at the behest of foreign nations that we also just drop our pants and send money to. I mean, what do you expect? You know, I get it. I've got mild to moderate fatty liver disease. It's not going to stop me. God, I'm just dude, it's insane, man. It's 2026 is it's starting off just like 2025. I mean, honestly, it's
They
almost
kind of just
March.
blur together.
Yes, yes. I mean, well, ever since COVID, right? I mean, ever since that goddamn gorilla died, that's what the problem was. Ever since that goddamn gorilla,
Harambe?
yeah, Harambe. Ever since Harambe died, it's been fucked ever since.
I wish I had that picture on here. Have you seen the picture of Harambe and Ozzy, and I think it's Ozzy and Elton John and all that? All the ones that have died are in that picture.
Elton
That's a
John's
good.
not dead.
Oh, maybe it wasn't Elton John, it's somebody else.
I'm like, I'm like, right. Wait, what?
I think I got it. Maybe. I think I got it on my phone. Look at this I keep the dumbest shit on my phone.
That's the best. That's not dumb. That's perfect. That is perfect. Oh, is
It's
there anything
gotta be
else on
on
our
here.
list that we didn't
There it
cover?
is, there it is.
What's that? Oh, yeah, Hulk Hogan. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. I'm not
Hulk
touching that
Hogan,
one.
Ozzy, Harambe,
God.
George Floyd, and, the dude from, I don't even remember that guy's name. Guy from Fast and
Oh, Paul
Furious.
Walker.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Dude, I was going into I was driving through the drive-through of Dunkin' Donuts in Northwest Indiana, of all places. There was a guy that had and this was like only a few years ago. I mean, Paul Walker's been dead for a minute, and they had a fucking thing on the back. And at first I was like looking and I'm like, well, maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe it's like his brother who's also named as Paul Walker or something. But I looked up the date and sure as shit, it was the guy's birth date and death date. He had a decal made for his car that had "Rip Paul Walker" and like "We'll see you in heaven." And I was like, that big of a Fast and Furious fan, huh? Like that's it. Like I was what the fuck is this? Who does this? Fucking
Only
stupid.
in Indiana.
Only in Northwest Indiana. You know how many fucking idiots we got around here? I mean, vote for me. I'm Travis Gearhart. I
Hey,
don't
you
care.
you still have to make a video to where you're talking and you're like this. I am Travis Gear Hart.
So, God, it's just so and the shame of it is that I don't want to get into it. I don't want to start any crap up. I don't
Well,
want to
hey,
have any.
we are at an hour and 8. You wanna mention what you told me you're going on some show
Oh
next week?
yeah. So I'm going on a show next Wednesday. Let me pull it up here to talk about primarily about my race. So it's a libertarian show, but it is no, come on. From the Liberty Blues Network podcast. The guy's name is Sean Osborne. Yeah, we're
Hey,
set up. He lives in Los Angeles, California. Let me view his profile here. So yeah, he does Libertarian Party of Los Angeles County. I'll follow him right now, actually. Yeah, and he just talks to different libertarians. He seems like a nice guy. He's legally blind, which is interesting, but he's actually originally from Lafayette, Indiana. So I kind of want to talk to him about that, see what got him out in LA. I don't know where. So he's a music teacher, podcaster, and libertarian political activist, and blind as a bat. He says in his bio.
it says that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, he seems like a nice dude. Yeah, the Libertarian Blues podcast. We'll post. Yeah, I'm sure I'll multi. We'll do some links. We'll drop it maybe in on the Facebook page or whatever. And yeah, but we're gonna plug our stuff. Obviously, get a chance to talk a little bit. Maybe we'll get him on as a guest in future episodes and stuff. But yeah, we've been really getting involved. We're building out some coalitions. We got some good guests. We got a guy that actually worked he's a region rat as well, but he actually worked in immigration. We're interviewing him on Monday. You won't hear that podcast for another week though, because we already have the cornhole champion of the frickin' world, Mark Richards, that we did. That's going to drop on Wednesday. I still got to edit that actually. But yeah, we'll do the guy that was in the Biden administration.
Immigration. Yeah.
Yep. We're going to talk immigration again quite a bit, especially the way that things have kind of been panning out and stuff. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. We got a couple other people kind of in the mix. We still got a couple of Republicans, a couple Democrats, a couple of there's going to be a guy that I got the contact info from, the ghost hunter guy, to talk about the cryptids. So we'll get that set up. Yeah. We've got so many. We're gonna get you guys. You're gonna get your fix. We're gonna have some fun. So it turns out I pretty much have to go so I was nominated obviously by the Porter County Libertarians. So I'm gonna have to go to Fort Wayne in March for the state convention, which is fine. I'm not mad about it. I was thinking about probably going anyways, but you know who's going to be the keynote speaker is Justin Amash. It's kind of cool, former U.S. congressman. So, yeah, he was pretty much one of the most libertarian people. He was the Thomas Massey of his time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a Michigan guy. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. I might reach out to Saliba, see if he's going to go down. He reached out. He told me that he could get me, or get us rather, the opportunity to speak with, what's that guy's name? Hold on. So he had reached out. We're going to try to Vermin Supreme.
Vermin
I told you that.
Supreme.
Uh-huh. Remember him? He's the one that wanted to give everybody ponies and shit. We have the opportunity. I'm gonna try to lock it in, but I was asked the other day by Saliba if we wanted to interview him. So I don't want to, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna try to see. That will be
His
a good
name was
one.
Vermin, Vermin.
Yeah, he looked like a wizard. Once you see him and see some of his stuff, you'll recognize him.
Yeah.
You'll remember him. But yeah,
He
we
wears
have
a
the
boot
opportunity
on top
to.
of his head.
Yes. So, well, we're at about a minute 15 or so. Is there anything else you want to jump in here with, or I think we got a good,
I think I'm good. You're gonna have to cut some of this, but
yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to
at
do a little
least
bit
you
of
only need
editing.
to check out the end of it, so that's fine.
Right. I ain't worried about it. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for spending your time with us. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
As
Thank you.
always, everybody, every time you listen, give it a like, give it a share. like, share, subscribe, all the platforms. We're really having fun doing this. 10 regular episodes, however many with guests, the .5 episodes. Yeah,
Yep.
it's been going good, man. I've been really digging it. I look forward to actually sitting down and doing this for, an hour or so every week.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So,
that's hour and 15. You guys have a great night. I'm your host, Keith Cunningham, Travis
and I
Deerhart,
am Travis Gearhart, and we
and we
are
are Disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised.